Happy Tuesday. So we are just continuing where we left off. Since we have 6 squares on this piece of paper, I thought it would be wise that we label them so that if I referred back to them, you could refer back with me and you know exactly which square I'm talking about. So I wrote number 1, number 2. Please follow along and do that with me. This one's number 3. And then we're going to start on square number 4. And then this is square number 5 and 6. So we have a total of 6 segments, and I want yours labeled exactly like mine. Lefebvre, how come you're not doing this? All right. So now that I've labeled all 6, I wanted to talk with you all about what we're going to be working on first. We're going to work on this one right here, which is, this is the question. Pop quiz. Ready? Is this side view or 3/4 view? Who wants to answer? Is this one side view or 3/4 view?
Miss Brown, I think it's a 3/4 view.
Thumbs up! Bing, bing, bing. You are correct. I have side view right here. Good job. And then 3/4 view right here. It definitely looks more like the 3/4 view. Excellent. Thank you for your participation. So we're going to be drawing another 3/4 view right underneath here. But this time it's a little tricky. They made it look like a cube. So I'm going to try to explain this to you as simple as possible, which is not easy. This is a very intimidating one. So I'm going to break it down into the things that I think are the easiest to draw. I'm going to zoom in a bit. And the easiest thing that I see when I look at this is that center line. All right, so I'm going to draw that right here. And it kind of looks like a line, and then it's broken down into little dotted lines like ants right here. So I always break things down to simple terms I can understand. So I'll give you a second, and then you need to do the same. If you're live in class, I recommend using your Chromebook so you can see, because my projector is not that great, but I'll try to zoom in. If I can find the remote. Ah! Where did it go? Oh my goodness. This Brown's got too much stuff. How did I lose it? All right, I'm not zooming in because I can't find the remote. So the next step that I'm looking at, comparing it to this guy here, is I see there's another line here and another line here. And what I noticed is this one is a little bit closer distance than this one. So watch me first as I try to figure this out. So I only have so much room in this. So I'm going to put a line right here. And then I know this one's slightly closer. Right there. All right. There's a line here. There's a line here. What I noticed is the one in the center is higher than the other two. It goes like all the way to the top. Give me a yes under the participants to let me know when you're done. I don't want to go too fast. We always try to map things out and make it as simple as possible, and then we build up the details to make it more complex. We break it down into basics. 15 out of 32 have said they're done. Now we have 17 out of 32. Still waiting on a few people. "23 out of 32. We're waiting on 10 students. There's the remote. Does that help you? 26 of you are ready out of 32. How long does it take to draw 3 lines? Okay. I'm going to get started in just a second. Now, I'm going to zoom in a bit more. Just want to make sure that we can all see. So I'm going to now look at the top part, and I see that this diagonal here and this diagonal here. So we're trying to make like a cube, and we want the slant to be the same. So now I'm going to do a diagonal here and a diagonal here as best as I can. It almost looks like a house, except this line is a little bit shorter in. Your turn. Now the next step is I'm going to kind of just do like a little guideline. I'm looking at where the top of this head is compared to where the bottom is of where the jaw. So about this distance right here, I'm going to put a little mark. That's like a little guideline so I know where I'm going to start my circle. And then I would say this area right here, that distance, I want to map out right about here. And then looking at this area, where would that circle end? Right about here. So I'm going to map that out. I'm doing little guidelines to figure out where my circle would be. So a circle is going to look like this. So the circle would end right about here. So I've mapped that out by making these little guidelines. Guidelines are your friend. That's what makes it foolproof, is you're learning how to break things down into easy, basic steps to build it up and make things precise. You know what else can make your circle helpful? The in-betweens. I can go like this, another guideline here, another guideline here, here, and here. Oh my goodness, it almost makes a perfect circle. Wow, Miss Brown, my mind is blown. Amazing. Oh no, I'm muted? Why am I muted? You guys can't hear me? I'm so sorry. Hopefully you're watching and following along. So what I did is I looked at where the circle starts and ends, and I put guidelines, and then I went and did a guideline here, and then the in-betweens. Ta-da! Yada! And it almost looks like a perfect circle. Is your mind blown? I hope so. So when you're done with that, thank you for somebody letting me know that I was muted. I had no idea. Sometimes when I have a co-host, they press mute on me and it just makes my life miserable. All right. So when you're done, please give me a yes so I can move on. I don't want to go too fast.
Sorry, Miss Brown. I might have muted you by accident. I was trying to let somebody in.
It happens. For some reason, it's really common. I guess the buttons are right next to each other.
Yeah, like as soon as you let the person in, it jumps down. So
Isn't it annoying? They should really put those further away from each other. But thank you for whoever told me I was muted. Because I don't know I'm muted. And I just talk and talk and talk. So far, we got 12 of you out of the 33. I don't want to go too fast, so let's get moving here, people. It's hard because everybody works at a different pace. In my other classes, they can always fast forward and kind of pause or rewind, but you guys don't get that chance because we make all the videos with you. 23 of you are done out of the 33. All right, I'm going to get started here. So I'm going to just complete this circle by being sketch release. Look how I put my hand and I kind of turn it. So I'm just kind of lightly filling in the gaps here. And that's another way on how to draw a perfect circle. Isn't that cool? Miss Brown's showing you different techniques. So now that I have the circle, I have to think of that diagonal line for the jaw, where the edge of the head and the jaw is. I'm gonna get a ruler so that we can start brainstorming ways to do this. So when I look at this line right here, yes, it goes in and out, but what's that basic diagonal look like? So I'm trying to mirror that line right here. I don't know if I can, no, it won't let me. There's gotta be a way I can draw a line here. Is there a way? Shapes, textures, select. Won't let me. Let me see. No, that's not what I want. I want a line. Oh well, I'm gonna draw it right here. So I'm looking at the slant, and I would say it's about like this. So we do a little guideline. I'm adding things that are not in this drawing. And then I'm looking to see where the jaw ends. It ends right about here, kind of curls. So I'm going to do like a little curvature. This is where the jaw ends. The jawbone. And now I'm going to give you a second to put that in. I'm going to zoom out a bit because I want to talk about the image above it because they all correlate with each other. When you look at the basic skull, this circle and this jawline right here, you need to decide where the diagonal lines to put it into thirds goes. What angle is it? On this one, it slants higher on the left and goes down on the right. But on this one, it starts in the middle, up high, and then it slants downward. So I'm going to put some little marks to kind of map it out. So right where I left my arrow, I'm going to put a little line right here. So I know that that's where the top of the first third goes. And then I'm going to do the bottom one. And the bottom one, if you look, is where that bottom of the circle was. So I had a tick mark right here. So now I know that I need to just separate this into equal thirds. So I'm going to put a little hint here and a little hint right here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 guidelines. I hope that helps you. I'm smiling under this mask. Somebody nodded to me, so it made me feel like I'm teaching a class. It's nice. When you have a bunch of black screens looking back at you, you don't know what, you don't have that interaction. Okay. So hopefully everybody did those 1, 2, 3, 4 tick marks. One's at the top, about a little chunk down. Now I have to think about where that angle is by looking at my ruler here and thinking about the slant. How does it slant compared to the one next to it? So I think it's about here, off into the distance. You could remember how we learned 1-point perspective? I would say that the little point goes into this other guy's neck. You really want to think about it as 1-point perspective. So I put a little dot in the middle of the other guy's neck. No way. Miss Brown's drawing off of the distance into another square. You betcha. And then I'm going to do the other side, and I'm going to give looking time, and compare it to the slant. So off in the distance, the dot is probably off my page over here. And then it gets a little bit easier because I did that dot on the neck, because I can line that dot up with the bottom. Yada! Now we're playing in 2-point perspective instead of 1-point perspective, which was our letters. Oh my goodness, this is fascinating to me. This Brown's getting crazy. I did that wrong, I think. So, because I'm looking at this line right here and it slants down and mine goes upward. I don't listen to me on that one. I did something wrong. I didn't put it in the right location. It's okay, we're learning together. I've never drawn this one before. All right. It's all about where you give looking time and try to figure out the angle. So yes, there is a dot, but it's like way further off the page. It's not where that dude's throat is. I'm sorry. It goes even further out. So I got to look at this angle, and I'm looking at this bottom tick mark, and it still slants down. So yeah, that vanishing point, it exists, but it's way further down. So it's a slight angle here. It goes like this. Okay. And then I have to pay attention and do my other guidelines. I noticed they did it like a little ant dots, which is fine. I'm going to mirror it as best as I can. Little ant dots. And then I'm going to do that final one. Pay attention to the slant. Try to mirror the same slant. Trying to make it look as close to that one as I can. And then I'm going to finish off these other diagonals on the other side. That looks kind of like an anti-dot here. This one goes kind of like this. If you don't have a clear ruler at home, I'm sorry. It helps so much. Had a makeshift one. We do the best we can with what we have. So what they're trying to do is get you to realize this as like a cube form that is on its corner edge here.
So you want the lines to slide down.
Yeah, I want them to look exactly like it does right here as best as you can. I'm trying to draw this over here. That's why I have them side by side. Okay. Did I do the slant wrong? Maybe this one should have gone down a little bit further. So I'm going to just make some adjustments. I mean, it's not the end of the world. But we're trying our best to get them to match as close as possible. All right. So I'm going to work on the outer edges. I always like to work on the outer edges first, but I want to wait till everybody's ready. I don't want to rush. I know this is really intricate, so I'm going to go ahead and clear the participation. Please let me know when you're done with all of this, and I'll move on to the next step. I don't want to go too fast for you. Yeah, so far only 3 students, 5 students are ready. 15 are ready. It's just trying to get your brain to see things cube, circle, sphere, guidelines. These are all things that have been built up upon one another. Very repetitive. They're building blocks. This should all be very familiar to you. So far, 25 out of the 33 are ready. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the circle here and look at this outer line that curves in and where the neck ends up. What I notice is it's almost dead center, this line right here between this one and this one. So that's going to help me. So I would say put a little guideline right here. And then I notice it kind of curves out. So that's the back of the neck. It's giving looking time and breaking things down into easier steps. Doo-doo-doo. Now that I've done the back of the neck, I'm looking at where that jawline is here and where does the ear end, and it ends right about here. So I'm drawing like another little guideline in the middle of those two, because that's where the ear ends. And I'm trying to figure out where the ear begins. And so I had to look, okay, it's not this line. It's the line down, and it's right here. So I'm going to kind of make like a tilted oval very lightly. That helps me map out where that ear is going to be. And right now it's just a basic oval, and then I can go over it and darken it up to get the shape of what I want that ear to look like. Something like that. I'm pretty happy with that. I like to work my way outward and then build inward. Since we're on that ear, I'm going to look at that center part right here of the ear hole. This looks like an oval to me. I'm going to draw that right here. It's like a funny looking donut. And then there's like a little circle right here. So I broke it down into smaller shapes. And then when I'm happy with that, I can kind of like darken up this line and kind of draw this as best as I can. So I'm going to darken it and really give looking time to how to properly draw that ear hole. I'm adding more flair to this than what they have in the drawing, and that's okay. If it helps me draw it more accurately, then do it. Since we're focused on this ear, I notice there's like this curvature line that goes to a point. It almost looks like a blade of grass or a thorn. And then there's a line right here. So I'm going to do both of those. Why not? This has some extra shading in there. I haven't done that yet, but you can. A little, we're just learning how to observe and how to mirror things that we see. If you're looking at a real person, this will go into effect. If you notice there's something that's wrong, you tweak it. Like I noticed my earlobe, that arch was a little too high, so I'm tweaking that. I'm always going back and tweaking. When you're done with that complicated ear, let me clear the thing. Give me a yes. Eight of you are done with the ear. I'm going really dark with my pencil. If you look here, it's pretty lightly done. But I'm going dark because I never know how it's going to project onto the video. There's also like this characteristic line in the ear here you could add. I'm going to add mine. I kind of already did. Oh, it's a little long. Luckily I have an eraser and I can kind of soften it up. You can soften things up if it's too light or too dark. I don't want to go too light because you guys have to be able to see what I'm drawing. But I'm pretty happy with that ear. It doesn't have any shading, and that's okay. It's fairly accurate. Okay, now we got 18 out of 32 done. Still waiting on half the class. All right, I want to start working on some other things here. I'm going to work all along this line here where the jaw is. So I'm looking between here and here. It kind of goes out and then it goes in, out, and in. It's like a little wavy line right here. So I'm going to try to draw that in between jaw space. So I know it starts here, and then it kind of goes out, then it kind of goes in like that. It's not perfect. I might have to make more adjustments later, but it's not bad. Now I'm going to try to draw this area here. This one's very minor. It goes in. It's very mild. The next one, it's got like a cheekbone and it goes outward. That cheekbone and then it goes outward. So it goes out past the line and it kind of swoops in. You know, always make tweaks later. The next one, ooh, kind of goes out. Wait, where am I? Where am I? Out and it goes in like this, let's say. And then I kind of fatten up the top of my head. The heck? Oh yeah, Miss Brown got nutty. I don't want to go too fast, so give me a little yes when you're done. What I'm teaching you is college level, but I know you're able to do it. I wish somebody took the time to break down the anatomy with me with basic shapes and lines when I was in high school. And so that's why I teach this to you guys now because nobody did. And it's a building block to make your drawings look more realistic. We want to avoid kindergarten drawings, stick figures, and all that kind of garbage. We want to learn how to draw professionally. I really want you to walk away with some awesome drawing skills when you leave this class. And by breaking it down into the basics, that's how you start to look and see things with basic shapes and lines. I had teachers that were lazy and would just give me something and say, okay, draw that. And it would, you know, it wasn't really an explanation of breaking things down with guidelines and sketching. So I luckily knew better because my mother was an artist. She was a professional graphic artist for 38 years. So she took the time to show me how to do some of these things when I was younger, which really helped me, you know, with college and becoming an artist. Okay. So far we only have 3 of you that are done. Hello. I know it's hard. We're giving looking time. Oh yeah, some of you forgot. All of a sudden now the numbers are really escalating. 20 of you are done instantly. That's so funny. I love to break this down and I love seeing the light bulbs go off in your little heads of how to do these things. I find it very relaxing. Some people find it stressful because they want to be perfect right from the beginning. And guess what? This isn't, you know, like that. It takes practice to get to that level. But you should be very proud of yourselves for attempting it and doing the best you can. It's baby steps. All right. So I'm happy with that. What I'm going to do, because I see it and it's really easy, is this curve right here. It just looks easy to draw and it's right there where we're at. And it goes a little bit over that guideline and it kind of goes to here and then past it to about here. So I just did that curve. That's the dude's hairline. Oh yeah, Miss Brown. Thanks for breaking that down in something easier for me. I try. So it's that line right there. And then from there, I'm trying to figure out this little shape, this little hairdo, bouvant, or whatever you want to call that. Let's see if I can do it. Howdy hi. Kind of goes like this. Yada da. So I'm going a little darker. Maybe I did it wrong, so I do some adjustments. It's all right looking. I'm not mad at it. And since I'm there, let's do this line here. This is intimidating. Oh my goodness, I'm so scared. Let's see if we can break that down into some easy steps. So I'm looking at the distance from here to here, and there's like a weird diagonal down right here. So I'm going to just draw that little diagonal line. And it kind of goes like this. It's like a V, a sideways V. I try. And then I look at the distance from here to here. Do a little guideline. Yeah, it's like that kind of. Sure, why not? If it's not right, we can fix it later. What might be easier now is to look at this little diagonal down here next to the ear. Let's see if I can attempt that. Kind of goes like this, and then it goes like that. And then there's like this little curve here. Oh, I should adjust that. He looks like he has like a really bad receding hairline, so I need to make some adjustments. So I'm just adding so he doesn't look like he has a crazy hairline. What I noticed is like his hair kind of goes out further from that circle. So I'm going to add some on the back end, give him a fatter head in the back. So I'm always tweaking and adding till it looks right. But it's hard for you at first to figure out what those adjustments are. So I'm going to clear this, and you just let me know when you're done with that hairline on this side and on this side. And mine's never going to look exactly like the drawing because I'm not that artist. Everybody's got a different style, but you're just trying to make it as accurate as you can. You're not going to be as good as me. Some of you are going to be better. I'm going to adjust this some more because I think I can make this more accurate. And there's like this weird little like crack in his head. Some other little characteristic stuff. Yeah, I'm going to do that because I'm bored. I'm waiting for you guys. So. All right. Turn in a proof of practice of that. I'm sorry. I thought we had like a 10-minute bell, but we don't. So I haven't made it yet. You know what? No proof of practice today. Don't worry about it. We'll finish this tomorrow, and then you'll turn it in then. Okay? Have a great day. Bye. No proof of practice today. Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you. Wow, that took a long time. I should have put my timer on.
Brown?
Yes?
I came in late. My name is Alex Plaza.
Yeah, I already got you.
All right, thank you.
No problem. Uh-oh, did my recording not happen? I'm going to cry right now. Okay.